The 25 crew members and 2 medical personnel who'd still been on board the cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak have gone into quarantine as the ship finally docked at the Dutch port of Rotterdam for disinfection. The MV Hondius reaching port after the passengers disembarked last week on Tenerife. In fact, the head of the WHO, the World Health Organization, has just been speaking on the latest. Let's hear from him.
WHO's assessment continues to be that the risk of hantavirus globally is low. So far, there are 11 reported cases, including 3 deaths, and no deaths have been reported since the 2nd of May, when WHO was first informed of the outbreak of the ship. Those numbers have changed little since the outbreak was first reported to WHO 2 weeks ago. As things stand, there is no sign that we're seeing the start of a larger outbreak.
Head of the WHO there speaking in the last hour. We're going to cross then live to Amsterdam, talk to our correspondent Fernande Van Tets, who joins us from there. I mean, first off, Fernande, what happens now to those 27 crew, those medical staff who had been on board the ship?
So people were disembarking, they were immediately checked, their vitals were checked. And actually most of those people, most of the crew were Filipino, then there was a handful of people from Russia and Ukraine. They will be quarantining in the port of Rotterdam. They've set up special living units, kind of white containers for them to live in for 6 weeks when their vitals will be checked daily to ensure that this virus doesn't spread any further. Now, the Dutch 2 crew members, they were on board. They have been allowed to go and self-quarantine at home, just like the other passengers on this ship. The reason that these crew members are being kept here is that they say, the authorities here say that the authorities in their home countries are not specialized in these kind of infectious diseases, and they want to make sure that this doesn't spread any further. Now, health authorities here were pretty unconcerned as none of these people were displaying any symptoms of the disease as the ship docked yesterday. However, of course, it has been deadly. There was also the body of a German woman on board who sadly died. She's being cremated locally and her ashes will be sent to Germany as soon as that's done.
So, Fernande, what about the ship itself? While you're talking there, we're seeing images of it. And, of course, any plans to ensure that this kind of outbreak doesn't happen again?
So this ship is being completely disinfected with chlorine, and then afterwards it will be sprayed with water peroxide. A local company is doing that. They're expecting that this will take roughly a week. The ship is actually set to sail on the 13th of June for a next cruise to Spitsbergen. The company operating this ship is still taking bookings, but a spokesperson has said they'll have to wait for the green light to see whether this ship is ready to go. However, the health authorities here say that this is likely to happen again in future. In the past, these kind of infectious disease outbreaks would usually be quite local, but because of the large amount we travel nowadays, it is much more likely to spread. So health authorities here saying this, although it's the first time that the port of Rotterdam has had to deal with a case like this, set up this emergency infrastructure, they are actually not expecting it to be the last.